quick video on how I originally learned how to cook and where I first got my inspiration from. I started way back when I was 6. Usually that story starts with their grandparents, my grandparents, not the greatest of cooks. So I had to borrow someone else's. In this case, it was my uncle's mother, and they were babysitting for me actually over Halloween, right around this time of year. And went over to their house, and she cooked me clam sauce, and I really loved it. Really adventurous as a 6-year-old. So I even went back and started mixing my juices, and haven't really looked back since. So today, right around that same time of year, I'm going back to my aunt and uncle's house, and gonna be cooking a little bit of an elevated version of jalapeno for them with fresh clams and fresh broth, and show you the steps.
Hi, So I'll tell you a really quick story. You know, growing up with being one of 7 children, you would think that you would have a mom that knew how to cook. However, we came from a household where our mother did not know how to cook, and when she did try to cook, there's always a fire. It got burnt, or we didn't eat, or we went out. So, a typical evening in our house when my mom did cook was one time she wanted to prove to us that she could cook, and this was very important to her, that her children felt that she went above and beyond and put together a wonderful dinner. And so she went out and brought 7 Stoford chicken pot pies, and thought that it would be okay to take them out of the tin shell, if you remember the Stofers, and heat it on top of the stove in a giant pan. And so she takes this on, heats it all up, and I don't know if you've ever done this yourself, and I would hope that you haven't, but if you ever do, take a shot at it. It turns into just this paste, this huge paste that you could actually probably put together a sculpture with, and it would probably hold it for eternity. So she does this, we come home, and this is the dinner that she serves us. And clearly, we've all decided we're going to go out to dinner. But before we all decide to go out to dinner again, we thought, well, this would be really a lot of fun. Let's invite over this young 2 guys that was renting a room from us in our house, because they went to college at Fordham University. And so we invited them over. I think it was Fordham, St. John's or Fordham, one of them. And we said, hey guys, my mom just cooked a great dinner. You got to come over and have dinner with us. And she went out of her way and she did it for you. And they were all like, oh, that is so wonderful and great. And so they come on over, and they're sitting at the table, and we put this pile of, I'm not kidding, cement on their plate, and continue to watch them sit there putting this into their mouths going, oh, this is just so wonderful, Mrs. Cummins. Oh, thank you so much for having us over. And the whole entire evening wrapped around these chicken pot pies that became this figure of just a mess, I must say is a story that we tell to this day to our children, and I hope that our children tell it to their children about their grandmother. And no one can fault any Cummins child for not knowing how to cook. And the ones that do end up being great chefs, kudos, because they certainly didn't get it from the side of the Cummins gene.